everyone, welcome to this week's joint reading.
Hopefully that sun will not be in my face soon. But hello, welcome to the joint reading. Today, do you want to do the overview, Megan?
Sure. So today, I've already forgotten. Holy crap. What is it that we're focusing on? I know what my cards mean.
Yeah,
But
so
there's like an overall energy about...
Well, the overall energy that we're talking about today, no wonder, because I pulled the collective energy. So I did a collective pull, and let me just go over we basically decided what we were going to do. Sorry about the sunlight. We decided what we were going to do, and then I pulled cards for the collective energy, and the collective energy was basically just like, yeah, what you just said. So you're feeling stuck right now and unable to see a pathway forward. And the reason for that is twofold. Because you literally feel as though you have to walk away from something that you don't want to walk away from, or you either would have to leave something behind that you don't want to leave behind, or there's this thought that's untrue that you would have to leave something behind when you actually don't. And also because you feel like the systems, rules, and structures that exist in your environment are not conducive to you moving forward. So you feel like paralyzed, by your own inaction, because you're probably afraid of making the wrong decision, and by the rules, systems, and structures surrounding you. And then what we're going to be looking at is letting go of those burdens, like letting go of those burdens that are weighing you down, that are based on other people, and getting out of a state of suspension so that you feel empowered in making a decision. And ultimately, what we were talking about before I pulled these cards that just clarified that was, we know that you can all feel the future timeline that is your highest timeline. We know that you all have every desire to align with that timeline so that you can anchor it in. And today we're going to be looking at what, Megan?
So with my three groups that I have, your first card is going to be what you think that you want. The second card is going to be what you actually want, because we can deceive ourselves a little bit. And then your third card is going to be what you need to release to get what you want.
And then I will be looking at, what are you afraid of? What is the lesson from that fear? And then what's on the other side of facing that fear? Should we write these down? We'll worry about that later. Whoop. Do I even have a pen? As you go, Megan, I'll write that down. So let's start. So, and there's going to be 3 groups. So if you want to choose ahead of time,
yeah,
or if you just want to go with the flow, but there will be 3 groups. And I'm going to get a thing to write with, guys.
Yeah. How do you guys usually do yours? Because in my mind, I like to just listen to the whole thing and then take what resonates for me. And usually the one that's for me is the one that calls me out the most. Lissa's looking for a pen. She's looking for a pen.
I always, of course, like to, it's just funny that I would do this when I don't trust myself most of the time, but yet I would do it this way. I pick one in advance and only listen to that one, and then just decide that it's for me. Yeah. Way to put a lot of pressure on myself, huh? But it's because I feel like I would be unable to distinguish what from what. If I listened to all of them, I would be like, I don't know, they're all me. I don't know. So I just pick one, and then I'm like, that one's mine. And if I listen to it and I'm like, well, that's clearly nothing to do with me, I'll pick another one. Another way I do it is I just scroll to a random place and decide that that's it. Is my full head in here? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
So Megan, tell me again.
So my first card is going to be what you think that you want.
Sorry, my pen's not working. Stupid pen. But we're so close. Hold on. Okay. Hopefully this one works. Really? I thought that might happen, so I also have a pencil.
All of your pens.
Okay, what you think you want.
What you actually want. And what you need to release to get to where you want to go.
Okay, and then mine is fear, lesson, other side. And then there's group 1, group 2, group 3. All right, guys, here we go. So let's start with group 1, yeah? And I'll keep track of the timestamps.
I needed a sip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, group 1. So, what you think that you want. You currently think that you want basically an attaboy. You think you want public recognition. You want to be the center of the attention. You want all of the girls, boys, gays, and days to be looking right at you and really boost you up and show you how much you are, like, provide that value to yourself. However, what your soul really wants, what you really want, is basically just a stronger connection to source, to your soul, to yourself, to your community. You want to feel like you're part of something that's bigger than yourself. So we got this one in actually two different groups. So what you need to be letting go of, it's Four of Cups in reverse. So what you need to release is you need to check to make sure that you're in alignment, and you need to kind of check your ego, and you need to look at how you're retreating and like pulling back from your interpersonal relationships. So you're kind of getting in your own way, if we're just being honest. And I think that it has a lot to do with ego. I think that what you really want is connection so deeply, and friendship and kinship and community, and to feel like you're part of something. But the only way that you know, like, you only know how it looks from your perspective. So you're like, okay, so the people who have communities, people who have all of this are like famous or have followers or whatever in places of power. And so that's what it looks like to you to have community, when really you just want like a little collective of friends that care about you. That is what I have for group 1.
I was just double checking some things here. Ego. This is you learning how to get your ego in check hugely. So I've got dealing with the fears here, and it's like the fear, is this going to be channeled? I want to talk about the cards though. Okay. It's like this fear of, if you're not what you think you're supposed to be, then how are you going to get the things that you want? And because of that, the main fear that's showing up here is the Fool energy. And the Fool takes a leap of faith into the unknown. The Fool has completed a cycle of the world and is now stepping into the new thing. And so it feels like you are afraid to take this gigantic leap of faith into the next thing, but it's because doing so would mean dropping that ego and dropping that identity that you feel you are, which, get this. So what's on the other side of that? The Knight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Swords, I was looking in this book because I wanted to see, she has like personality types that she assigns to the court cards. And the Knight of Swords is like the Steve Jobs, or like someone that works really fast, really quick, really hard, and uses their intellect to get ahead. But they're kind of like not the most emotionally available, not the most in tune, and they kind of shut themselves out from the world in terms of really feeling these bigger aspects. And then, so, but it's in reverse. So on the other side of that, it's like the leap of faith is to soften and learn how to feel again. And then on the other side of that is the dropping of this armor that you've been wearing and a slowing down of things. And then, or excuse me, that's the it's like the fear and then the lesson, right? Yeah, that was the lesson of like how to slow down and drop that armor. And then on the other side of this, we have the 10 of Wands and the Page of Wands in reverse. And the Page of Wands, the Wands is the youngest suit in the deck. The Page of, like, that's so fucking beautiful. God damn it. Okay, sorry, I need to explain this. Of all the suits, the Fire is the most immature. So we start with Fire, then we go to Swords, and then Cups, and then Pentacles. Of the court cards, the Page is the most immature court card. So you have the youngest suit and the youngest like archetype or personality, the youngest personality and the youngest suit in reverse, and the 10 of Swords, which, excuse me, 10 of Wands, excuse me, not 10 of Swords, that's different energy. 10 of Wands, which 10 of Wands is when you release. But this deck in particular, like I chose this deck for you for a reason, apparently. See how she's walking away? And do you see how the Page of Wands is in reverse and she's walking away? It's like you're letting go of your immaturity. You're walking away from your immaturity. And so taking that leap of faith for you, the thing that you're afraid of, is walking away from this personality that you've developed around yourself, but you don't understand yet that the lesson you're learning is how to walk away from what's inauthentically you, because you're actually much deeper, more complex, and mature than you have any, that you're not giving yourself credit for that because you haven't learned that lesson yet, but you have to soften up and open your heart space to get there. Oh, that's so nice. I like that.
It is really nice. So, on to group 2. Okay. So, group 2. Okay. So, what you think that you want right now is the Ten of Pentacles. So, you think, focus on the card. Anyway, you think you want the Ten of Pentacles. So that's a lot of like family connection, security, stability. It can be kind of linked to like how much money you have in your bank account, which really is deeply rooted in our like value of security. And I really get why you think that you want that. But what you actually want, we have the Ace of Swords here. So you want to experience life in a new way. You want to have clarity. You want to feel like you've succeeded on your own. Like, look at her. Look at how her mind is just like a staircase with an infinite spiral that leads into something better. You want to use your noggin and really feel valuable and experience everything like from a new perspective. And similar to last group, what you need to let go of is check your ego. Check for how you're pulling away in your relationships. Look for how, for you, it also needs to be like check with how you're talking to yourself. I mean, look at this girl. I mean, this is like upright, but look at her. And look at how you're talking to yourself. Look at what your relationship is to yourself and really ask yourself, is the family, is the stability, is the money, whatever it is that you think that you want, is that really the feeling that you want to have? The money, the stability, all of that can come along with having that new perspective, that new lease on life. But you just have to know in your core, what I really want is to like experience life. I want to use my brain. I want to know that I am valuable. And all of those other things can come along with it, but it doesn't have to be your primary focus. And be nice to yourself.
So you got the Ace of Swords. What else did you? And then you got the Four of Cups. What else?
Ten of Pentacles.
So I also got the Four of Cups. So I'm going to start at the end here with what's on the other side of it, because Megan was just describing it.
Yeah, I was saying release the in reverse, and you have it upright.
So I have it upright. So so as the outcome, this is, God damn it. Ooh, I like today's reading. So here's the thing though. Do you see how, so Two of Swords is a decision, which also I got, just so you all know, here there's some collective energy going on that I'll talk about at the end, because I got repeating cards. Did you too, Megan? I got a lot of repeating cards. So we're all on a similar frequency, guys. Do you see, I want this to focus. Do you see how the Two of Swords is looking directly at the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups is not reversed but upright? So what that is a decision to stop seeing the lack, a decision to do exactly what Megan said. So once that happens, that's when you allow that Ten of Pentacles energy to come through. And for you, what you're afraid of is walking away. So the traditional is that, yeah, that's different. So the traditional tarot, this is the Eight of Cups. Is it the guy? Yeah, it's a man who's like walking away from all of these cups that are full behind him, and he's just like going off and into this water. But we have it in reverse. So sort of similar to actually, hold on. We got it here. In the overall energy, that's where it is. So we in the overall energy, we've got the 8 of cups in reverse, and in your group, we got the 8 of cups in reverse. So you're afraid of walking away from something. And like, aren't we all? I'm in this boat too. So you're afraid of walking away from something, but it's in reverse. You're afraid of that being the incorrect decision. You're afraid of the regret that you might experience from walking away from something. That's the fear. I feel that so strongly because I'm in that energy right now. And it's like, what if that's not the right decision? What if I make the wrong decision and then this thing isn't here for me anymore? For me, it feels like walking away from freedom right now. Just a
You're
little
not
purple
walking
to
away from whatever it is. And I will tell this group the same thing that I told you. No decision is permanent. I mean, unless you like decide to cut off a limb or something, that's
go.
probably pretty permanent. But if you make a change in your life, there's nothing saying you can't like move back to the place or take that job again or not have a job or
Hmm.
like if you decide that you're suddenly going to dress like a sparkly vampire and you like, oh, I hate that. You can go back to whatever. Nothing's permanent ever.
And here's the thing, and this is what I'm learning in my own life too. You are not walking away from this is so cliche, but it's so silly and true. If it were upright, it would be different energy. If it were upright, it would be like you're walking away and you're making the right decision and all as well. It's upside down. Ooh, this is giving me goosebumps, which means this is sort of this is a channeled message for you too. You're not being asked to walk away from anything. You're being asked to go inwards towards yourself so that you can find that clarity and understanding that will then just make the decision obvious. It's not walking away from anything. It's making a decision to align with what you want inside. So what you're walking away from is the need for external validation to give you stability and clarity about your decision. That's what you're walking away from. And you're turning inward to be able to make that decision for yourself. And that we already talked about what's on the other side of all of this, but the lesson here is building stability. We've got the 6 of Pentacles. And the reason this is building stability honestly comes more from the card preceding it. The 5 of Pentacles is two people left out in the cold, being abandoned and like not having anywhere to go. This is when you start to build back from that. The 6 of Pentacles, this feels very strong. This must be my group. This feels so strong. The 6 of Pentacles is when you go, I'm never letting that happen again. I'm grateful that I had that experience and it was interesting to lose everything because now I know that I don't need anything other than myself. But at the same time, I'm not doing that again. So this is when you start to rebuild from that energy. And once again, on the other side of that is the decision to no longer see the lack or engage in the lack mentality because you now understand that even if you lose everything and it all goes to shit, you've already rebuilt from that. So you don't have that fear that will take you there in the first place. Woof.
I'm fairly certain group one was me, by the way. Alrighty. Group three. I'm gonna go ahead and say you are a bad bitch.
Yeah, for real. You're so brave. When as I was trying to pull cards for you, it was just like you're not afraid of anything.
Alright, so group one. Or group three, not group one. Card one, what you think you want. So what you think you want right now is connection. You think you want to like hang out, party, be embraced by the people around you, and I mean just look at how much fun they're having out in nature. But you really feel like you want to like have those experiences with the people in your life. But what you really want is to be independent, to be on your own, to have that personal strength in yourself that you know is yours, that no one else contributed to. You want to write a story that is all your own. And it's not like you're lonely. You still have connections, you still have friends, you still have all of that, and you can still party and have fun or do whatever it is you want to do. But you know that your happiness isn't dependent on anyone else but yourself. And that is what you want. But to let go of that, you really, really need to stop resisting the relationships that you're going to be losing. You need to be like, it feels like you have this deep connection to someone, and if you let them go, or this like deep reliance on someone, not connection. Well, it is a connection, but it's a reliance. Like it's like someone like a partner or something that's always been a team player or or a big part of your life. And it's not necessarily that you're like stepping away from that relationship that you have with that person, but you're changing your mindset around it. So you're not just super linked in the same way. They're like, your happiness isn't dependent on their involvement with the process. And you're separating yourself from that, but you need to really reevaluate your mindset surrounding it and know that you've got this. Your happiness is all you. And anything else in addition to that is just like a cherry on top.
Why
So,
did you have to say cherry on top, you motherfucker? Fuck you.
what?
God damn it. Okay, so I have a personal antidote for this that I wasn't going to say because I'm apparently group 3. Like we're all this is collective
I mean,
energy.
I
We're
saw
all the groups.
pieces of myself in all of the groups.
Right.
So,
But because my grandmother always told me,
yeah, I
yeah,
remember
that
that.
yeah, she's like sorry but again about the light, it just is what it is. Hi grandma. So she always told me that the partner, like it's just the cherry on top. Like the like the life is the life and you are just a badass independent woman and you don't need a partner, and that the loving like relationship and all of that, it's just the cherry on top. It's not the whole ice cream sundae. Like you are the ice cream sundae. And I'm in a situation right now with my partner, again, personal antidote, but I'll tell you because it's relevant. I'm in a situation right now with my partner where my codependency has me terrified that once I go back to full-time work, which I'm going to be doing, we are going to somehow separate and become disconnected and not be stable in our relationship anymore because I'm going to be cultivating my own independence. And so, yeah, that might happen. And you can take that fear out of shadow by just going, that might happen, and then feeling how that shifts your energy. But also, the core of this is cultivating your independence. It's being okay with who you are. It's recognizing that worst case scenario, well, it's not the worst case scenario, but like if this we got the same energy. I have 2 of cups here and I have 2 of swords, so a decision is being made about something. And I'll get to that in a minute. But this just feels so personal, that's why I want to talk about it. It won't matter what the outcome is because the gain of what you're experiencing is your own inner independence, your own freedom, your own liberation. And you can have that within the scope of a relationship. And not only that, if you can develop your own freedom and independence in the scope of a relationship, that is the relationship for you. That is going to be a beautiful relationship. And if that relationship happens to crumble because you're focusing on yourself and your independence, well, would you really want to be in that kind of codependent dynamic anyways? So that was my grandma saying, listen up, sweetheart, to what Megan was saying, which is why I said, fuck you, Megan, because it was so clear. Like, who says that? Who says that? I got the fool in reverse for what you're afraid of. This is, you're afraid that it's like fear isn't the right word. You already did it. Like you already jumped. The jump has already happened. So this can be looked at 2 ways though. There are 2 separate groups here. For one group, you don't have fear because you've already literally done the thing you were afraid of, or you are like afraid of jumping off the cliff and falling on your face. Do you know what I mean? Like he could be tumbling towards the ground, or maybe he has already jumped. Look at that whichever way you will. The lesson is the ability to decide with clarity. So learning how to, but then it's like, okay, well, what does that really mean? Well, it means that you're able to make decisions with clarity after this experience because the outcome is the 2 of cups. This confused me because this can also represent like relationships and love, but it's a decision. The lovers used to be the decision. Excuse me, I got that confused in my brain. The lovers used to be the decision card, not the 2 of cups. But the 2 of cups is like 2 people coming together, and I felt like I needed to pull another card with that, and I got the high priestess. So it's learning how to listen to your, I do feel like this is a love reading. Do you feel like this is a love reading, Megan?
Yeah,
You
it's a
agree?
love reading, and it feels like not like a love reading like you're breaking up with someone. It's like you're like rediscovering yourself within a relationship and really finding your strength. And I also was just like grinning because how often are we getting recently, at least for me, the Empress for like where you're going, the energy
Yeah.
you're tapping into. It's been really recurrent for me, and I think it's beautiful.
And it's about listening to your intuition, you
Yeah,
guys. Like
and standing in your
like
power.
yeah, and it's if you like get out of that codependent energy, and I'm in the beginning of what I was talking about is that codependent energy. Like, well, what if what if it doesn't work out in my relationship, or what if my partner doesn't like what I'm doing, or blah 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 blah. All of that is disempowering yourself. All of that is taking you away from your heart center, away from your soul, and preventing you from being able to tap into your intuition. So if you can just shh and go inward, there's no way you can fuck it up. There's no way you can fuck it up.
The feeling that I'm getting with this group and their energy of like what they're moving into, and this might be a little crass, it's like dominatrix. You are madame. Yes, ma'am. You don't let anyone tell you what to do. You tell them how to treat you.
I can hear you being annoyed at my bracelets.
I'm not.
So oh, you're
I
not?
didn't even
Okay,
notice
maybe
them.
it's me then. I notice it now. Um,
It's because I recently had a bunch of dingle dangles and I was frustrated about that. So now you're like projecting
oh, okay. Yeah,
that
yeah.
past.
But
It wasn't
here's
even your jingle dangles.
you guys, speaking of dominatrix, um, you have spent the amount of time you've spent accommodating other people so that you could get to the point where you're like, fuck this. Fuck this. There's a reason you've done it for as long as you have. And it's all been about building the contrast for the equal and opposite, which is really beautiful because when you face that Two of Swords energy to step into that high priestess, like empress, I'm listening to my intuition, I'm birthing a new world, I'm no longer afraid to take the jump. You're not only not going to question yourself, but you're going to be so quick to just be like, nope, nope. That actually happened to me recently. I had someone send me a really inappropriate message, and past me would be like, "Oh, it's me, and I don't want to be mean." And this me was like, "Fuck off and fuck you and no thank you, unwanted,
No,
bye."
thank you.
And I just blocked them. So it's like you learn how to protect your energy in a really beautiful way, and it's we're stepping into that energy. And I would like to pull one of these Stark Seat cards. I pulled them out for a reason. So what does what do the stars want to tell our collective? Oh, hello. You got lifting the veil, you guys. So this to me isn't about anything external. This to me is about like, good job. We're doing that inner work to like learn these deeper aspects of self. Well, you are now getting to that point where you're integrating those deeper aspects of yourself into your external lived reality. And that was this is an attaboy. Group one, here's your attaboy. What, like, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and being open because now you get to see what's on the other side of that veil.
So I pulled two more cards for the overarching because all of these energies feel really aligned. But for the overarching collective, as what you need to be releasing, what's going to be a barrier for you, and then what we are moving into as a collective from this deck, and releasing primal fear.
Oh, fuck. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I've actually never pulled this card before, but look at him. He's a
I was
dude.
talking about that energy today. The worst pain I've ever felt in my life
He looks like that.
was a sea urchin. Like in my mind, it felt like a sea urchin. And that was it. It was that guy. I associate that with that pain. It was the most fear because it was fear too. It's like fight or flight fear energy when you're in that much pain. And so I gave my pain like a color and a shape, and it was that. Anyways.
And then what we're moving toward is beyond wisdom.
Oh my God. That's such beautiful. Can you put those cards up together?
Do, 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 do. My hands can hold two cards at once.
What a fucking difference that is. Wow. And it's lifting the veil. Like you're moving beyond your fear. It's like you're learning how to no longer be a programmed meat suit body and you're learning how to be an empowered, embodied soul. One
Well,
more
I feel
time.
like
Yeah.
collectively, or our segment of the collective at least, because there's definitely people in different places, but our little piece of the pie is currently like we rapidly went through the shit and we're currently stepping into like, okay, we've learned our lessons, now let's like put them in practice. It's like we went through the 101 and the 202 and the 303 and now we're like having to show our work.
And I would like to add, do we want to add? No, we won't add it yet. Well, yeah, I'm hearing that's a hard no. Don't say it yet, so I'm not going to. But I
Okay.
will give you a little teaser, which is as soon as Megan and I decided that we were going to take what we've learned and go back into the Matrix to implement it in this new way, we were given gigantic gifts.
Yes,
The universe was like, "Oh, thank God."
I'm not going to talk about specifics at this
Yeah.
point, but I will
Mhm.
say it is uncanny. It is incredible. It is so validating from the universe how often really random, very specific niche details of our lives and our events that are happening are almost identical at the exact same time.
Yep. Yep, yep. And we'll share that with you. We'll share that with you once it's grounded.
Yeah, probably like next week or so.
Yeah, totally,
Um,
totally. But
I just don't want to like definitively make an announcement about anything without being
well,
a
it's
little
also
more
still
grounded.
actively changing. It's also still very much in fluid motion. So we
Yeah.
ourselves don't know what these things are going to look like yet. But the energy of it is like literally like imagine being outside of the light grid. I'm going to not call the Matrix, but imagine being outside of the majority light grid, like that old grid space, and creating your own thing, but being unable to make this new grid. And then so you decide, okay, guys, I've learned what I've learned here. I'm going to take this light energy that I've cultivated, that I've created, and I'm going back into the other grid. It feels to me like that old grid is like rearranging itself to accommodate. It's like, oh, you're here, you're back. Okay, everybody in places, and then it's just like poof, like magic. So um that feels like lifting the veil. That feels like moving from primal fear into complete humility. Is that what it was? What was that rainbow card? Into that rainbow energy.
Beyond knowing,
Yeah,
ultimate
so it's
knowing,
like
something like that.
with humility. In my mind, there's like a lot of humility there because we are no longer conforming to the thing,
And we're
and we are
no longer subject to like our perspective is always going to shade things, but we're more aware of where our ego takes place in something.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then you can just see it and transmute it immediately. Like
Yeah.
even today in that reading, old me, just so you all know, this is what it looks like. Old me would have seen reading number 3 and secretly been like, oh my God, is that me? Oh my God, is my relationship not healthy for me? Oh my God, does this mean that I need to walk away from my relationship? Okay, don't let that show on camera. Don't let that show on camera. And I wouldn't have told Megan that. I would have kept that internal. And then that would have been a shadow aspect that would have literally, this is what happens now, be careful. It would have turned into a shadow aspect that would have made a story in my head that I would have then projected onto my current reality and made into a thing. It would have, and I'm living in a goddamn loop right now of what I've done in the past with that kind of energy. So all it takes is going, oh my God, I'm in that energy right now. Like, what a trip. Let's talk about it. And then it just
Immediately. And I can say that like from experience with any time that I'm like feeling myself fall into a shadow or I feel myself like loop on something, the second I just look at it and I say, "Oh, I'm doing that thing." There's no like negative feeling around it at all. There's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no anything. It's actually always like a little bit of pride that I'm like identifying the patterns.
identifying the patterns, I don't want to say that 1,000 times. My team in my head is like, ah, that one. Yeah, it's like the entire universe is patterns. Ace of Pentacles, by the way. The entire universe is patterns. Once you're able to see, and Megan is a this is why she's such a talented energy worker. Like we work in very different scopes with our personal clients, but what Megan in my mind is such a wizard with truly is being able to identify and recognize patterns in herself and in other people and what specific programs could be implemented to clear those patterns, which is pretty incredible. And then program isn't the right word, but it's like you can rewrite programs. So it's like you just rewrite it. But if you're unconscious of the program that's playing out again and again and again and again, that's what I think like Eastern philosophy calls karmic loops. Um, as I pull the world card, I'm like
Yeah.
shuffling in a weird way. And anyways,
I
so
think
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to go on a tangent about this, even though I've given it minimal thought, but okay. So I'm sure that if you're like somewhat tapped into whatever, there's been a lot of people recently talking about how like the karmic loops are done. We're done with those. And it just clicked in my mind that the reason the karmic loops are ending is because we're taking responsibility for our actions and our involvement in things. So it's not like we deserve something bad coming to us because we were out of balance with something or whatever. It's not something that's happening to us. We're able to take control and say, here are my loops, here are my patterns. I'm resolving them. It isn't the universe happening to me. It isn't a ripple from my actions from a while ago. It is something that I have complete control over and the ability to make adjustments to.
And that's very different. Like that's it's
It's
like the
being a
karmic loop.
victim versus being in
Yes.
control.
And it's the karmic loops aren't ending, you guys. There will still be so many people on this
Oh,
planet that are
yeah.
living out karmic loops. But what Megan's saying, and like the truth, 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 like that's so much truth. I can hear that it's truth, you guys. uh, when you become okay, here's the deal. You used to, and at this point, I swear to God, I don't know if this is information that's been channeled, if it's information that I just know, or if it's information that's resonated with me from another healer. Like, I don't know. But it used to be that you would die and you would and take this as it resonates. It used to be that you would die and you would have a life review. Is this a card that doesn't belong in this deck? It is. It used to be that you would die and you would have a life review, and at that life review, you would see all the ways the programs that you were living out no longer served you, and then you could create a new template to learn those lessons to clear those patterns and create new programming that does serve you. We are now in a like a live action role play game where we are able to recognize the patterns in real time and clear and transmute in real time. So what that means is you don't have to have these karmic loops playing out again and again and again to learn lessons, because you're, as a conscious co-creator of your reality and as a gamer in this universe that has a control and is playing this game, you can just see, I don't really want to learn that one, no thanks, and like move on to the next. So you get to choose your own lessons in real time. And some of the work that I've been learning that I do is soul contract work, meaning I'm going to say this prematurely, I can read other people's soul contracts, but like not really. That's a language is so limiting and it's the only way I know how to say it. And what I'm seeing with people is there these old beliefs of thinking that you need to live out these soul contracts to learn these lessons for the soul growth, and the now real-time ability to amend those contracts with yourself and with other people so that you can make changes. And it's like people have this idea of fate and destiny, but what happens when you merge so close to source that you get to see the fate and destiny for what the original intention is, and then you become so caught up with your highest self that you get to really be in the game in the now moment. Like, then every day is destiny and you also get to choose. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay, that was me. You said you were going to go off on a tangent. Woof.
Maybe my tangent was just to inspire your tangent.
you're
This
you're
was a great
playing.
reading. I'm
Oh
really
my god,
excited to
it
put
was
this
so
up
good.
because I feel
Should we
like our
put
last couple of readings have been like, sorry guys, and this one feels um, really good.
important to note that we also just recently did timeline jumps and are now on our new timelines. And I would also like to say, since we've done those timeline jumps, which is really great because that episode, maybe we end up putting this one on YouTube. I said that prematurely, but it lines up perfect with our timeline jump episode. Um, we are on these new timelines, and boy, oh boy, are we on fucking fire. So, feels really
Did
good.
P ever respond?
She did. I sent you a screenshot.
After that screenshot is what I meant.
Oh, no, I don't know. Hold on, let me
Okay.
look.
I had this thing in my head where she was like, "You guys suck," and I really wish you had mentioned me like 400 times.
You're adorable. Of course, she wouldn't say that. She said, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate you." Blah 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 blah. She said she'll look at it when she has some time. We both know how busy she is,
Yeah.
and like, let's be real, Megan. I don't think people have sent. Let's. people have sent me podcasts. I still haven't listened to Jess's podcast. Our guest that we had on our podcast,
Yeah.
she has a podcast. I haven't listened to that. There's
I don't think I
also
have either.
you just went away.
I just went away. I don't know why.
Went away. Oh, I wonder if your internet went out. Her internet went out earlier, guys. But point being, I don't think she's gonna be having time to listen to that anytime soon. So I think we just need to know that it's all good. She's not hating content. That's
Oh,
just
I
her.
know. I was just being silly.
Yeah.
So my camera's gone now. It was a wonderful reading. I love you guys. I hope you're having a good day. Maybe I'll put a funny picture here where it's black.
That would be really funny. I think this is Megan's energetic body being like, it's time to rest now. Bye.
I've been doing so much resting.
That's good.
It's rare for me.
Oh, I need to sneeze.
Bless
Okay, it went
you.
away. Okay, all right. Bye, guys. We love you
Bye,
so much.
guys.